with sky blue pink. Wow.
Sky blue pink. Wow.
Now, is that confusing to kids or not?
What? Primary or secondary? Let's see how good you guys are. It's yellow.
Oh, sorry. It's yellow primary.
Primary, yeah.
It looks kind of green. It still looks.
Yeah, it looks kind of a greenish yellow.
I know, and we're using violet red as red today because I can't find just a plain old red.
And bizarrely,
and then
red.
Yeah, and I'm teaching that the color purple is. They're saying it's what were they saying? It's primary and secondary or something. So I don't know. But it's not primary. No. Maybe they said. See now, I have it up actually. I know.
Seems to me purple would be secondary, but because it has two primaries in it. But
sorry, that's probably not what I meant. They're saying blues, greens, and purples. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant it's considered a cool color. But then when I scrolled up, it's also known as. Oh, sorry. If I scroll down, yeah, it's cool color with blue, green, and purple, and it's
green.
Huh. Sorry guys, I must have just dreamed this. Okay, primary colors are red, blue, and yellow. Oh, here we go. Secondary colors are orange, green, and purple, made by mixing two primary colors. You know, it's funny. I'm actually learning kindergarten stuff. Warm colors are reds, oranges, and yellows. And that's all I got as far. Okay, never mind the whole purple thing, because I must have dreamed it. I have not been myself lately. I think a lot of people know that. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Happy Friday and Mindfulness. Let's start with Randy, and then Angela. Randy, how do you practice mindfulness?
Oh wow, that is a really good question.
I put him on the spot. If you want, I can have Angela go first. Angela.
Mindfulness to me is, kind of like being in the right state of mind for the certain situation, which to me means preparation and in some cases meditation to get in the right zone, so to speak, and just being present, being present of your surroundings and activities and tasks at hand.
Beautiful. You, Angela, how do you practice mindfulness?
Definitely meditation. Plus, I have lots and lots and lots of times during the day where I'm not necessarily doing Gill's 3-step clearing essentially anymore. I'm just hopping to, I'm inside, you know what I mean? I'm just hopping to the witness. Immediate. Cool. And I do that a lot every day. So definitely meditation, lots of meditation, lots of just this is what I do. You know what I mean? That's what I'm interested in. That's what I'm trying to help other people with. So it's a constant thing with me.
Well, yeah.
I've gotten to where I've gotten to where simply I was talking with a friend and they had answered something in an odd way, right? In an odd way that seemed like it could be hurtful. Right? And I've had one of those with you guys, right? And with him, I use those now to get mindful. Anything that makes you suddenly be maybe not even uncomfortable, but just not what you expected. Take a step back. Don't jump to, just take a step back. And it's funny because it came out later what had jarred me so odd, why he had said it the way he had, is that he had been embarrassed about something else and he'd been struggling. And I was able to sense that. I didn't know what I was sensing, but I sensed something's weird here. And so I just kind of retreated and said, okay. And then later it came out. So, yeah. remember that you're not all this. Do that 100 times a day. Right now again, 3 times.
Cool. Oh, here we go.
Here she comes.
I'm so sorry.
We were just sharing how we practice mindfulness. So
I blabbed 3 times for you.
yeah, it was perfect. So how do you practice mindfulness?
Okay, first of all, good morning. I'm so sorry. I'm
Good morning.
10 minutes late. Good morning.
Okay, we're technically starting right now.
Awesome.
So please, everybody, we have a special guest. We call her Arayeh. Some people don't. We won't get into the technical name, the proper way to say your name. A whole other conversation.
All variations, I'm happy. Anyways, so let's start with mindfulness. I am so excited because I really do think this is the elixir, the true solution to live a suffering-free life. And I am so still passionate about this because I'm struggling with it, and everyone else does as well. Maybe as I said, maybe just monks because they constantly meditate. So the trick is to be mindful while living our everyday life, and while dealing with our children's tantrum, while dealing with our projects, while dealing with everything else. So I am going to show a couple of techniques that will actually help us in those moments. And they're amazing, and they actually work. So let's just, Elsie, I'm kind of grounding. Let's just, do this because I'm kind of agitated. I was doing something strange. And let's just close our eyes for a couple of seconds because I really need to ground. Let's have that collective groundedness together. Just take a deep breath through your nose. And then hold. And then out through the mouth. Do it one more time. And then out with a sigh. I need one more. Okay, so the conscious parenting that we had was, I kind of had an agenda. This one, I don't have an agenda, and I'm hoping that everything comes with a flow. And as you can see, I noticed it myself. I was kind of not mindful at the beginning. I was in a hurry. I was doing something. And I feel the difference right now that I'm grounded. I'm not worried. I'm not agitated. I'm grounded. I have surrounded myself with this. What comes is what is supposed to come. So that is actually one of the fundamentals of mindfulness, which academically the definition is non-judgmental observation. That's actually the definition of mindfulness. Non-judgmental observation. Acceptance. So the reason that is difficult because we are running these really powerful preconditionings in our brain that we talked last time. From 0 to 6 years old, they get implanted in our brain. And practically 90% of the time, we run our lives, we think our thoughts, we react according to those programs, and whatever we do is actually literally automatic. So whatever we do, whatever we think is automatic. And mindfulness is actually to have a pause and say, stop. I do not want you to be present in me, this automatic thought. I consciously choose to think, choose to act, choose to talk. So this is actually the pause that we need. And the more we do it, and unfortunately, this mindfulness is not something natural, and it needs practice. And what do I mean by practice? These neural pathways that are in our brain, and they're all I have a question. What is this hand that the number is going up, like it's like this? What does that mean?
You're getting props.
Okay.
It's like thumbs up.
Okay, so people are watching right now? Oh, awesome. Okay. All right. As you can see, I'm completely new to this. Anyway, so what were we saying? So this non-judgmental, exactly what Randy has here. So we stop before we talk, and we actually have this poster in my house on the wall for my kids and for myself. Before you speak, before you act, before even you think, is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? Is it kind? So this is the pause that we were talking about. So mindfulness, as I said, the definition is non-judgmental observation about whatever we have, and that's there's no good or bad. There's no judgment in anything. And I just posted this, that when I'm washing the dishes, instead of just mind wandering, I look at the dishes and I feel the water on my hands. So just be at that moment when you're washing the dishes or doing whatever. So the research shows that mind wandering, we do mind wandering 47% of the time. This is the research, and that's when whatever we are doing, we are not actually concentrating on that. We are thinking about something else. That's mind wandering. And where we're in the shower, that's the worst time actually that we do mind wandering. So last time that I took a shower, when I read this research, I said, okay, let me just stop that mind wandering, and okay, the water is coming, and I found out the water was too hot for my body, and I never noticed because I was thinking. So I had to kind of turn up the temperature of the water. So it's to have that practice of being in the moment. If you're eating, mindful eating is actually one of the practices that they teach in Buddhism. So when you're eating there, first you smell it, and then you put it in your mouth, and you see where in your tongue you're actually tasting the taste, the texture, and when it goes through your throat. And then when you're doing this, you are thanking the people who are involved, or the creatures who are involved. For example, if you eat a piece of chicken, you're thanking the chicken, you're thanking the cook, you're thanking the grocer, you're thanking the farmer. So the process is called mindful, and you're actually interweaving with this action of eating, and you enjoy more, you digest better, and you're thanking, and you're one with the food, and all sorts of things. So mindfulness comes along with everything we do. Mindful walking, mindful running. When you run, I suggest people not to listen to music and stop the mind wandering. The way I do it, because I run outside, it's harder probably in when you're doing it on the treadmill. But when I'm running outside, I look at the grass, I look at the little pebbles, I feel them, the little pebbles under my feet. And if I feel like I'm mind wandering, I say now. So when I'm running, I say now. So that will bring me, that will anchor me back to the moment. And the trick is this, because our suffering comes from two things. Comes from worries about the future, and then comes from the negative feelings and the regrets and all those things from the past. So the suffering is actually coming from the past and from the future. In the moment, the second that we have here, if you're anchoring to this moment, there is no emotion attached, because we are, thank you so much, Randy, for putting all those nice posters. That is awesome. So maybe this could actually be a beginning for me to have actually slides, also like a agenda for mindfulness, because I started with this, but then I changed to conscious parenting. So at the moment, there is no attachment. Right now that I'm talking, at this second, I have anxiety. What is anxiety? If I do, I don't. Maybe I have a little bit. Oh, how it turns out, am I making myself clear? So it's something about expectations outside the now. But if I'm talking in this moment, and if I'm anchoring exactly to the moment that I'm talking, the words come out properly. The words come out the way they need to come out. And there is no judgment, there is no worry. So it's impossible to feel bad when we are anchored to the moment, because there is no planning, there is no worry about the future, and there is no regret about the past if you're completely anchored to the moment. But I have to tell you, I have to warn you that this comes with practice. So some people might not even understand. I talk to people and say, what do you mean? So this is kind of personal, and we have to kind of first be aware of such a thing that it actually exists. And go ahead.
I wanted to catch you a while back.
I'm sorry, I was
at one point you said that it wasn't natural, that mindfulness wasn't natural, and that's going to be one of those personal things. I grew up in Calistoga, which at the time didn't have a lot of people in it, and I grew up in the country, and I was an only child of an only child. Mindfulness came to me at a very early age, and it's more than just not being judgmental. It's not even labeling. It's simply being, and you're not saying, I feel the breeze on me, you're feeling it. Exactly. The saying I feel the breeze on me is getting you to the place that I could do as a kid living in the country, just because I didn't know what else to do.
So I want to tell you that you're lucky. I want to tell you that you're lucky. So the pathways that, because we are constantly in this doing world instead of being world, our brains get wired that way. And of course, for example, if a person comes to a monk family, I don't know if they can get married, but but I mean, in
parents were social monks.
Yeah, in that situation, or in a mindful family, in that situation, they learn from very early age the value of this. And go ahead.
I don't know that I'd describe my parents necessarily as mindful. They were pretty asleep, but I think turning more mindful, being an only child, and only really having animals really to hang out with for at least 9 years of it, right? It made me turn more mindful.
Sure.
That was my way of coping with the drama and the craziness that is present with all people who are not mindful.
Sure. I totally understand. You're very, very lucky. And I think you're among very few people who have this.
It's probably rare these days.
Yeah. So, but the pathway in our brain, and this is academic, I'm not just saying it, the pathway is not built in. It needs to be practiced. And in your way, in your case, you practice it.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, and it is built in.
Yeah.
See, because as a child you build those pathways, and so I was lucky and built it as a child.
Exactly.
So it was built in.
Exactly. As a child. So
yeah.
So that's why our hello. Oh, that is so cute.
Yeah.
What is that?
Arayeh, I don't know how I pronounce it. Abu Cherkezi is asking what study you're referring to. He says, "Oh, it's academic is something," and I says, "What study?"
Okay.
You done the study?
Yeah, I don't have the title of the paper academically unless I go through my 50 papers right now. I am doing, actually my dissertation is in mindfulness, and so I'm trying to, this is just the beginning though, they have to approve it yet. So I'm going to measure the performance and life satisfaction of people who actually stop a couple of times a day and become mindful, and then continue with their journey. So because of that, I'm reading a lot of papers about mindfulness. And they're all saying that we need practice and we need techniques in order to cultivate that in the best way possible. As I said,
but it's just
go ahead.
Because it's a program that we've built after a certain age, right? I mean, we come in as these mindful children, but we lose our way, maybe, like we start putting expectations on ourselves. We have to be a certain way for society, and all of a sudden we're just program after program after program, and now we're in this place where we're releasing ourselves from these programs and just being of what we are.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think we talked about this last time, that the child comes here as a spirit, as one, and then is getting bombarded by these programs and these expectations, and they lose that sense of being in the present. So the reason we talked about it last time, that the consequences don't work with kids, because they actually live in the moment, and they will not think, okay, yesterday I did something. Oh, I forgot my my earbuds. Sorry. And then we kind of take that away from them, and then if you're lucky, we get back in in that path and try to cultivate it again.
See, and that's like really big. Like, I'm trying to parent myself as I'm parenting my kids, and I realize in my awakening of, oh wow, I've been living through programs, I have to unlearn just to find peace, to unlearn so my kids don't repeat my programming, that I don't teach them this programming is normal. It's not.
Exactly.
It's hell. That's what I believe.
So that's why it's so important to actually teach these things to kids before 6 years old. And as you said, not to teach, like to be in an environment, in your case, Angela. Why? Because I am seeing it in my son right now. He actually turned 6, and I'm seeing the revolution, which I don't want to again judge it, but he is becoming conscious. His brainwave from 0 to 6 years old, we have very low frequency brainwaves, theta, and then after that we become to alpha, and then after 12 we go to beta, which is consciousness in our case. So I'm seeing it in him that he's seeing the world kind of similar to how we're seeing, and he's struggling. I'm seeing it in him. He was so like they live 100% in the present moment before 6 years old, and then after that they get out of it a little bit. So that's why it's so important to build these things before that. But there's still hope. Like for me, I was, until 40 years old, I was not in a mindful state. I meditated, but we can talk about meditation after. So again, you're right. So it's kind of the relearning, or kind of breaking up the previous patterns and building up new ways. How? For example, I see something that is bothering me, and automatically I want to react. So that's the pattern that it is built in my brain. I don't know how it is in your case, Angela, but in my case, I still have that urge. So I need to stop myself consciously and use breathing, all sorts of things, and go back to my newfound mindfulness pattern and activate that in order to detach myself from that automatic reaction.
You know, would you like me to share how I can stop the automatic reaction?
Sure.
I've reached a place where I have luckily very, very deeply internalized that anything that hits me, it's me. I'm reacting. I'm taking offense. Nobody, even if they meant to offend me, it's not them. It's me taking the offense. It's all me. So that ends up as an alarm. I'm not present because I'm getting upset at someone outside me like they actually have any power over how I feel. So it immediately becomes a and so you can get there. The second you feel the you go, wait a minute, I'm supposed to just be feeling good and nobody can rock my world. And then you become present. And you remember,
nobody can hurt us.
But this is just your spaceship. You're the person. You're the thing inside it.
Exactly. So, but what I'm saying is that to get to this place is not easy for most people. And look at me. I'm in this journey for an year and a half, and I'm still struggling. Right? I'm still struggling. When my son says something, I take it personally. Or I get upset, or I have fear, or I want him to be the perfect boy, or so I'm still struggling. So this is why I'm saying it's go ahead.
Would you like me to make you feel very good? You've been doing this a year? I've been working on personal development and mindfulness in particular since about 2004. When I got my divorce, yes, I could see myself becoming my mother, being very not present and being offended by everything and being, that woman. And so it's been a journey to be. And I mean, yes, I was reading Eckhart Tolle back in like 2004. I probably was reading when Power of Now came out. So
that's good. That's really good.
So it's like Jim Carrey or one of those people. You don't become an overnight success. It takes actually 15 years of overnight.
So so that's that what I'm referring to is like when you have decided. So as I said, you have lived this journey from very early on, right? So when you kind of when you kind of come to this place and say, okay, now I want to do it. Now I know this is the solution. Now I want to do it. Now what to do? So the techniques I'm going to show you, and they're, as I said, like we have to mindfully do them, and it's like practice. It's like gym, going to the gym. If you don't go to the gym, we'll lose our good muscles, right? So we need practice. That's why, for me, it has been so intense because I've done it in a very short time, and I've tried to classify it and kind of have a tangible plan, tangible blueprint how to achieve this. For people who have not been lucky, to live a mindful life from the beginning. So,
not constant. Certainly not constant.
Yeah. So that's exactly what.
So like,
go ahead.
Sorry, I was just saying, the practice making it a habit, right? In other words, I mean, but see, this is where I get confused. It's like we're building a habit, doing something that really is normal for us. Is that what it all comes down to?
You know what? I still don't think it's normal. I don't think it's a natural thing. As spirit, of course, is normal. If you're living in a spirit world, if you're living in meditation, it's very normal. But because we're living... Yeah,
it's our brain, right?
Exactly.
It's because of our brains.
So because we are living in this world that is all out there, that is all about doing, right? So that's why it's not very natural, and that's why we have to actually ask this question of like the mindfulness expert a couple of weeks ago. That's really funny. I asked this question. I said, will ever mindfulness become a pattern that we don't have to make an effort? And he said, no. The intention could be, could be automatic. Okay, I get up in the morning at 7 o'clock in the morning. But becoming mindful is an in-moment struggle, in-moment effort, not struggle, but in-moment action. So it will never become a pattern. And we always, unfortunately, I was frustrated. I said, you know what? Can this be a pattern after some time? Because but every moment, so it becomes easier. It becomes easier, and it becomes. Go ahead.
I totally disagree, and I think this quite a bit. Here's the problem. Here's why it can't become a pattern. Okay, I did several things coming from 2004. You've got to know why you're triggered. You've got to know why you do the things you do. You have to have a lot of self-awareness, which, by the way, I'm going to do a plug for me. I don't tend to do this, but today I have 2 very content-filled items. My first is my blog over at Angie C's Cheerleader of Life, which was about Survivor from Wednesday, and emotional intelligence, which was the buzz thing that Prope said at the end. So I talk about emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence goes hand in hand with mindfulness. You're not going to have a lot of emotional intelligence unless you've had some mindful time periods.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to talk about it a lot, actually, if you have time.
The other one, is my Next 99 today is very content-filled, too, and it's also technically about mindfulness, but from another direction. It's coming back from way back in Dr. Phil days, so I would check them both out. You want me to give you links later?
Can you type that in?
Sure.
No problem. I don't mean to interrupt. I mean, if you could type the links in, but continue.
I'll be right here. Keep going, Arayeh.
Were you going to say something else, Annie? Were you going to say something else?
Those 2 are really content heavy to me for what I normally do. They're probably a little bit longer on the video, and yeah, they are directly about mindfulness. So I will link them. So I may look weird for a while, and I will mute myself.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. Emotional intelligence is actually the main, the fundamental of being mindful, So as I said, non-judgmental observation, what does that mean? It means we have no emotion attached to the problem, to the issue at hand. And the way we do that is by just accepting and observing. So how does that work? For example, I see my kid is getting frustrated, and I'm really frustrated. Automatic reaction is I'm frustrated. And then when I detach from that and I just tell myself, I'm observing his struggle. The moment I say that, the moment I think I'm observing, I will detach the emotion, and it will just, okay, I have a child who is struggling right now, who's having a tantrum, who did something, who got into trouble. I'm just observing. So instead of just labeling that this is something bad and have fear and have all those automatic thoughts and then react, I just observe. So the way to do this, as I said, like if people haven't done it at all, it's at the beginning, it's kind of, and I'm saying this because I have intentionally wanted to become mindful, and like Angela. So that's why at the beginning it was very abstract to me. What does that mean? What is just observing? So this is the first step. It's really, it's just a very nice feeling that you get and you experiment with. So yeah, you observe, you experiment with it. So how can we go about this right now? Yeah. So do you have anything to add right now, so that before I continue with?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, I'm going to tell you, I have been going through this thing, and because of you, our talks, I do take time every day, and I sit in my chair, and I just look and observe, and I see everything for the first time. There's that same rose from yesterday, but it's different. It's different, and I noticed that. So what I've been dealing with lately, and it's that reaction within myself when nothing is happening, right? It's something from the past, like you were saying earlier, and there's this emotional charge. I can access it so easily. That's my habit. It's like, oh, there's that thing, but then I can disengage from it just as easily because I have the tools. I have that knowing now. This was normal for me. The charges were normal. It's like, oh, I'm always agitated. And so, yeah, just observing it, disengaging.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There it is. It's that easy. It's like, isn't that crazy? We are creators. We can create this, and we can disengage
so
from it.
usually
Make it.
So usually when we have these automatic thoughts, they're that of the ego or our defense mechanism. So one of the best ways that really helped me at the beginning was trying to find the perspective. First of all, be aware of my perspective, and then be aware, and then venture, like it doesn't even have to be true, venture to find another perspective. So, for example, a person doesn't call you and we automatically, oh, he doesn't like me or whatever. It's just a, very hypothetical matter. But you would say, maybe it's not true, but I would say, oh, maybe he got sick. So when you have another perspective, it will kind of release all those tensions and all those judgments. And it's just that, being curious and being not too attached to our own agendas and our egoistic, perspectives, and just be willing. It's mindfulness is, there's no, how can I say this? Mindfulness is easy. Mindfulness is flowing. So it's just to release that rigidness of an idea, of a perspective. So be just curious and be even funny or even improbable. Think of the improbable things instead of your perspective, and that will loosen up that rigidity, and that is actually the ground for being mindful, and just to allow and observe and not judge and detach, and then go with the flow. And I think after some time, because it's very, very personal to me, because I have a very, very scientific background. I'm an engineer. So, but at the same time, so I would, like in spiritual perspective, some people are atheists. So my clients, some of them are atheists, and I have to talk their language. I say, okay, so you go back to your own personal experience. Like what you feel cannot be denied, right? So I'm not telling you to take a leap of faith, but when you are doing all these things and you're practicing these things and you see in your heart and you are actually experiencing some tangible experiences, then you believe. Then that's the time that you get empowered to do this more and more. So I really encourage people to kind of experiment with this. And the best way, some people think I'm a broken record about this, but the best way to cultivate mindfulness is have daily meditation, at least 15 minutes, 20 minutes every day. And the reason I say that, because to me, meditation is like fuel. We cannot run our car without going to the gas station. We need that silent time. The silent time is when we kind of turn down or turn off our analytical mind, and we let our pure self get connected. So I don't want to talk too spiritual, because I know some viewers might be, say, okay, have some other ideas. But just our true self, just be silent and turn off those preconditions and these presuppositions and those automatic emotions. Just turn them down and be curious. I'm going to talk how we can actually start for like the people who haven't done meditation, how to do it so it's easy, because some people think it's an esoteric matter, but it's not really. So the way, what is it?
Down on the comments, I don't know about anybody else, but I had something that sounded like a police radio go over mine. And so somebody down here, Clean and Humble, says, holy crap, is that the universe turning into a robot? What was that noise? I think he had it too. So I'm sorry I started laughing, but I was in the other moment. Many moments were happening simultaneously at once, which is always true.
It's true.
So,
thank you.
So for I really want.
Bye, Digifilm guy. Thank you. You were fun. So Sorry.
Thank you.
So I want to talk about meditation because it's so important, and even for people who haven't done meditation, there are all.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
You said 15 or 20 minutes. Why do you think the length matters?
Well,
You know, I go back and forth on that. Sometimes I do 15 minutes. Sometimes I do a half an hour. I try to do it every morning. I definitely meditate someplace during the day. But that timing, you're very, you know, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, so why?
The reason is that it takes around 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes to quiet down those thoughts. And after that, after 10 minutes, we actually we are free of those thoughts, and our mind is kind of quiet. You know what I mean? It's kind of quiet. So, and then at that time, we can experiment with our all sorts of things that we can talk about here. So at least 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So for me, like sometimes it takes 15 minutes to quiet down the mind when you have so many things to do. So I have done transcendental meditation for 20 years, on and off. So that's like the most classified meditation in the world.
I'm
What?
sorry. I'm sorry.
Is it Randy? Are you laughing at Randy?
Look on his face as he went by. He had one eyebrow up high. Sorry,
So-
Randy. Sorry, Arayeh.
It's okay. So in transcendental meditation, they have 20 minutes, like 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes in the afternoon. And why is that? So I sometimes I don't want to scare people. Really, to have two times meditation is really, really beneficial, because when we're going down, then we pull up again. So 20 minutes, that's the most classified meditation, you know, in the world. And that's, I think, Beatles kind of made it famous. TM. Anyway, so that's why we need at least 10 minutes to quiet down the mind, and then kind of get in touch with our true self. So the way we do that, I think the best way is to take 3 deep breaths, as we did at the beginning. So you can go either 4, 7, 8, means 4 go in, 7 hold, 8 out. Do 2-3 times. By taking 2-3 deep breaths, we get down to kind of to alpha level, which is our brain levels are, I don't want to talk too much, but when we're talking right now, it's beta level, which is really high frequency. And then after that is alpha, is the time is just lower, and that's the time that you get up in the morning, right before you wake up completely, and then you right before you fall asleep. And then there's theta and there's delta. So by couple of deep breaths, we get to alpha, and we are kind of lowering the frequency of the mind. So we're kind of turning down the analytical mind. And then after that, you just sit. So there's a bunch of things. You can repeat mantras, for example, love, peace, joy. And those are the focal points. So because our mind is constantly thinking. So we think, when we're thinking, we put aside the thoughts, without being forceful, because if you want to concentrate, you're going to get a headache. So we just notice, oh, I'm thinking, you put it aside, you go back to your mantra, love, 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 or whatever it is, or you go back to breathing, you pay attention to your breathing, you're just going through the nostril. So you have a focal point. At the beginning, when you're not an experienced meditator, you need a a focus to go back into. So you put your thought aside, you go back to that focus. But after some time, you can actually, just have no point of reference. So the way I like to do it right now, so the thought is coming. So as soon as I notice I have a thought, I just let it go. And then I'm curious just what's going to come after. So I have no expectation. It's important to have no expectation. It's important not to estimate what's going to happen, it's just everyone can do meditation. It's nothing as strange or esoteric about it. So the thought is here, let go, sit. The thought is here, let go, sit. And you do that 10 minutes. So the way I do that right now, so you can even label, say, oh, I'm planning, or I'm thinking about yesterday. So you just observe. That's the way it is. So the reason that it's so important to have meditation daily is that this mechanism of looking at the thoughts and let go, it becomes a pattern in our brain, so we can actually take advantage of it during the waking hours. When something happens, you do the same. Yeah, you do the same. So you say, okay, my son is struggling. You put it aside, you observe. So that neural pathway in our brain becomes ingrained, so we can actually take advantage of it during the waking hours. So that's one of the advantages of daily meditation, to kind of make this a pattern, actually create those neural pathways in our brain for our daily, waking hours. The next, advantage is actually to silence the mind. And in transcendental meditation, if you Google the benefits of meditation, you actually detoxify your immune system. So you catch a cold less, get sick less. And why is that? Because our brain, our cells, our body can only be in two specific states. They can either be in a survival state or in a thriving state. There is no third way. So when we are silent, we are stress-free, right? We're not thinking, we are not struggling, we are not surviving. So we're in a thriving mode. So we need that. Why they say, I don't know, the cancer was treated or MS was treated by meditation. There's so many, if you go like TED Talk, you'll see that a lot. Why? Because we choose to make our body and make ourselves in a thriving mode instead of survival mode. So the more we are quiet, the more we struggle, the more we try to survive and have stress, because stress is survival, right? That's fight and flight response. So it's a survival mode. The more we are on the other side, the more we cultivate well-being, because we are in a thriving state. So that's another advantage of having daily meditations. So I cannot stress enough, because to be mindful, it's a lot of people say, oh, when I cook, I really cook, and that's enough. It's really good. As I said, cooking, mindful eating, mindful running, they're all good. But I really do think, and I'm backed up by a lot of, mentors and research, that daily meditation is really, really important to have mindfulness during the waking hours. So that's one. The second one is, again, as Angela said, just simple awareness. Just notice. Whatever we do, we notice. I'm doing this. I'm looking at this. In your case, you don't even have to say it, but you just are. And at the beginning, the reason I'm saying I am, because it's just the beginning to cultivate. And after some time, you actually do. I read this amazing book. It's called Joyful Wisdom. And that was the time that I understood, like when I read this book, the way I looked at the tree was different. So when you look at a tree, if you just, there's a tree, or you don't even see, but if you focus your attention on that tree and you truly notice the tree and truly see the tree, that is where the magic happens. You're actually noticing. You're actually really one with the tree. So this simple awareness will get cultivated and by practice. So when I read that book for 2 weeks, whatever I saw was amazing. Like, I was in awe of the universe, because I was seeing.
What was the name of the book again?
Joyful Wisdom.
Okay. Oh, I saw Elsie did type it.
Let me just bring the book, because I'm not sure about the.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Hey, look at my cool bracelet, everybody.
Yeah, what's it say?
Oh, you can't read?
Choose
it says,
love.
I choose love. I choose love.
There's a song that says that, isn't there?
So,
choose love, choose. Ooh, I'm going to blip it later.
I choose love. No, it's called I Feel Love.
No, I think there is an I Choose Love.
I'm
sorry, it's backwards. I'm so sorry. joyful wisdom
Okay.
is.
No, it's
only backwards to you.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Cool.
now that I
Joyful
bought the
wisdom.
book, I really,
Nice.
I know you've read it,
You
but
put that
I
on the
really
wall.
want everyone to, this is just the Bible of mindfulness.
Chapter 10, right? And chapter 10 is a good one, right? Isn't that the one Gil always said? Oh, sorry. Let me type it.
I know. I got the audio book, and for about a year, I think I played it just constant.
Yeah. So those are.
I highly suggest for store owners, play books instead of music sometimes.
That's a good idea
for your clients.
Although maybe not mysteries. Sorry.
They'll never. Yeah. That's good.
Okay, so yeah, the way for 2 weeks, I was really amazed by the things I was seeing. I don't know, the trees, the cars, even like man-made things, not even natural things. So, but what happened after 2 weeks? Because I didn't practice it, it faded away. So that's why I say it's important to have everyday intention, and the word intention or intentionality that we talked about yesterday in our call. It's so important, because if you don't have the intention, little by little, it will fade away. So we should kind of discipline ourselves, unfortunately, to have daily meditation and to have those daily reminders, which I'm going to talk about right now. So I kind of nailed down mindfulness 4 things. One of them was daily meditation. The other one is simple awareness. As I said, just be aware of what's going on, what you're seeing, and enjoying. Like, even as I said, like doing chores becomes enjoyable when you are in the moment. Like you feel liberated if you just give it a try. Just give it a try. It's just, I kind of challenge you. I dare you to do this. Whatever you're doing, even if it's a chore, you just become really, truly 100% aware of what you're doing. Feel the texture of what you're touching, or see it, or smell it. Use your 5 senses. The 5 senses are so important. So that's simple awareness. Then I have the third element of mindfulness is the daily reminders. Again, unfortunately, this comes with the discipline. And I cannot stress enough that how it is important to have daily reminders on our phone. I have put them every half an hour, but like every hour at least, or 5 times a day at least, to remind yourself and pause. Whatever you're doing, just pause and then become aware. And again, become aware of your emotions, emotional intelligence. Become aware of your thoughts. Become aware of your values. For example, have your 3 values that you want to live by. And then repeat those values. Am I, at that moment, am I living close to these values? Am I living, for example, one of my values is being mindful. Am I mindful? The other one is joyful. Am I joyful? Am I compassionate? And then kind of you cultivate it a little bit at that moment. So that, again, is a practice. It's exactly like exercising, for your body. If you don't exercise, after some time, we lose our muscles and we become languid and all those things. So we need exercise. And that's the same thing for our brain. Our brain literally is a muscle and needs to build up those pathways. So we need these daily reminders. I cannot stress enough, at least 5 times a day, to stop, to pause, and become, am I mindful? What kind of emotion do I have? We can talk about emotion a little bit more. So that's the third one. And the 4th one is kind of in-moment practice for the conflicts, or the times that are not just daily routine and without conflict. And that's when you have problems with your kids, when, I don't know, something happens, any, unfortunately, God forbid, accident or whatever. And that's on the awesome technique called stop. So I printed it. You see?
Nice. Stop, take a breath. I love it.
You see it? Of love.
Okay. So this is actually one of the techniques that, okay, let's talk about MBSR and then I go back to this. So MBSR, which I really truly recommend to everyone here and to all my clients, mindfulness-based stress reduction, MBSR.
What was
M.
it? Oh, did I spell it wrong?
MBSR, mindfulness-based stress reduction. So this is 7-week or 8-week free online course. And why is it so important that I'm mentioning it here? John Kabat-Zinn, who is an academic person, I think 1979 or around that time, he brought up this course to hospitals because he figured out that the patients were not like they were left alone after they were treated in hospitals, and then they were just not happy. So he brought this course for free to hospitals for people, and I'll tell you exactly what it is. And he saw amazing results. So this is actually the first integration of Buddhist meditation into academia. So this is the first integration, and all the academic research about mindfulness right now uses this, and it's extremely valid and legit and effective and all sorts of good adjectives. So it's, if you Google MBSR free online, it's there. So they're like they have a couple of videos. What is mindfulness? They talk about this technique, stop, and other techniques, which the other one is RAIN, for example. You recognize the feeling, you are aware, you investigate what's going on, and then so the N is, I forgot. So there are a couple of things. Go ahead.
HALT. Well, a former codependent friend of mine taught me HALT. I have problems with it. If you get angry, you're supposed to see if you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. I have problems with the fact that you're checking if you're angry when you're angry. Yeah, you're angry. But the hungry and lonely and tired are important.
Yeah, of course. That is also emotional intelligence that I'm going to get back.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. So, what I wanted to say, so a couple of videos, and then they show you, there's guided meditation, and there's yoga, there is these techniques for, so this technique is stop. I don't know where it originated from, because Deepak Chopra also had it. So I really don't know who to credit it for, but it's amazing. Why? Because when the thing happened, I just stop, take a deep breath, and then I observe. Again, I'm just observing, and it's amazing. And you cannot believe me until you do it. When you actually label and you say, I'm observing, he is devastated, it makes so much difference, and it will help you detach your emotion so amazingly. Just give it a try. And then proceed. They have only proceed, but I put proceed with love, which is the most important thing. We proceed with compassion and love, because that's actually the essence of the world, love and compassion. So 4 things: meditation, simple awareness, daily reminders, and stop for occasions. So I nailed down mindfulness to these 4 things. So one of the techniques, one of the ways we can practice this non-judgmental observation, Jeffrey Allen brought it, and I really like it. So if you just close your eyes, take a deep breath, and imagine you're in the center of your brain.
Oh, I love this. I love Jeffrey Allen.
Yeah. You're in the center of your brain. Imagine you're there, and imagine there's a door. You just open the door, and then let all the people, all the thoughts and everything leave this door. Visualize they're leaving. And they're leaving, and you just close the door. So here is a place of quietness, place of stillness. Okay, so you can use this for your meditation. But what I really love even more is where you take your attention a little bit behind that center and then above that center. You're sort of still inside your skull, but you're a little bit behind the center and above the center, an inch above and an inch behind the center. So he calls this higher mind or observing mind. I love this. So when you're here, you are completely detached from the meaning of the things that are going on, your thoughts or events and everything. So this is actually you're observing. This is higher mind, you're observing. So I find this technique really useful when I'm doing daily meditation. And I can do this without like with open eyes too, when I want to observe. It kind of clicks, it's just like a doorway to observing. So it's not necessary, but it's a good catalyst. Go ahead.
I was struck by listening to you. I suppose the first time I ever did it with Jeffrey Allen, I had people in there, but my room never has anybody I have to show out. It's always empty. It's always just me.
You're so lucky.
It is always just me. But I love that of the higher mind. And I have to say, Jeffrey Allen's that exact meditation, if I'm not using somebody's guided meditation or those binaural beats or something, Jeffrey Allen is my go-to meditation. Absolutely. Whether I'm doing the chakra one or that one or yeah. And I love the making that room in your mind. I know exactly mine. Yeah. Mine's like an observation tower out in the forest with lots of windows.
Yeah. So now that you brought guided meditation, I like for people who haven't done meditation yet, that's a great way to start. So you go just guided meditation in YouTube. You can even put, for example, the theme compassion or the theme success, which I don't recommend for early on. But so you can start with guided meditation. So what I suggest to clients is that go ahead and do guided meditation. Go ahead and do all those musics and all those things. But having 15 minutes silent meditation is key. Why? Because that's our appointment with ourselves. Because when we're doing guided meditation, we're still, part of our brain is kind of following. And what I really think is true mindfulness is to get connected to our true self without any agenda, without any directions, without any guided meditation. So those are awesome. But besides those, please, 15 minutes at least daily silent meditation or still meditation, or they call it open monitoring in academia. Please do that, because that is our appointment with ourselves, with, if you believe in God, with God, if you believe in, I don't know, super intelligence, with connectedness, consciousness, whatever you want to call. That's where we get connected, because we are free from agendas. We are free from programs. We are free from our preconditionings, our automatic thoughts and automatic judgments. So we are just free. We are liberated. That's where we get connected. And what is so important, because it builds us up. It's like fuel. You can go ahead and start with guided meditation. I actually have in my blog, beloveknow.com, I think made a meditation sub menu. So if you hover over that, you'll see meditation. I have a page, like a collection of guided meditation that I like. So I put it there if you want to go and, see which one resonates with you. So now let's talk about emotion, which you also brought it up, because I tell my kids, until you die, I give you two things: feel your emotions, find solutions. And this is really key in the most difficult situations. Feel emotions, find solutions. Because if you do not, go ahead.
There's a person down here who's an interesting guy, clean and humble, but he says that he actually has a studio where he makes binaural beat meditations.
Awesome.
So he makes them to order. So there you go.
Awesome. I actually use them. I use them when I study. So I go to YouTube and I sometimes use them for like a study music, those manuals. Anyway, so thank you. What was it? Okay, so emotion. So the reason emotion is so important, actually, maybe it's too simplistic. Maybe some people say no, but truly, the cause of suffering is not feeling emotions. And why is that? Because from early childhood, I'm not talking about you, Angela.
No, that's exactly what I'm talking about in my blog today, is what you're talking about, the early childhood and the blocked emotions. So
Yeah.
have at it.
Yeah. So why do you feel bad now, Clean and Humble?
Because we plugged him? Oh, because he says putting up with his BS. He did have some BS, but he's aware.
All right. So
see,
okay.
Idiots too can survive and be loved and liked. And
what I tell you, I want to tell you something, Clean and Humble. I actually want to have, is it okay I'm continuing? Elsie, I don't have to cut off, no?
It's 4 after.
Is it okay?
No.
It's not okay?
Yep.
That's a mixed message.
We're good. We're good.
So
Sorry.
the 10 reminder that I told you, it's from Gil McKiff from Achieve Today. And I'm going to mention it exactly the way that he says. So when you get a reminder, you ask yourself, how am I feeling today? And then when you find your emotion, which at the beginning is kind of hard, believe me, I had to write it down. I couldn't find my emotion exactly. I had to write it down, and every time it was different, because we are not in touch with our emotions. We don't know what they are. We sometimes feel yucky, and we don't know what it is. Is it frustrated? Is it agitated? Is it jealous? Is it I don't know, all sorts of emotions. We have all sorts of emotions, but we don't know what they are. So at the beginning, it's important to discover them. So I had to write them down to figure out, to nail down what my emotion is. So when you find the emotion, you say, there it is. That's a program. That's not me. Okay? So that's for the detaching part. But the next part, which I'm going to focus right now, is thank you for releasing. I love you. I love you. I love you. And why do we love? And the reason I'm bringing this up, because of that word idiot that you put, Clean and Humble. We don't do that. We do not hate our emotions. We do not hate our programs, because for a very good scientific reason, because they were there to protect us at some point. At some point, we needed them. No, you shouldn't say I love being an idiot. This is what I mean. So your program, we're there to protect.
Love what you do.
To protect you, literally. When you were a kid, for example, I'm a reactive person. I'm a perfectionist, okay? I should not hate my perfectionism right now, although it's not serving me. Why? Because my dad was a perfectionist, and I had to be a perfectionist to please him. So my mechanism was actually protecting me from being failed in front of my dad. So it was there in order to protect me, to love me. The important thing right now, the conscious thing right now, is that
see, you're
I'm a Persian. Okay.
Ding 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 ding
Okay.
ding ding.
Okay, so the thing is that okay, I lost trying my thought. Okay, so right now the conscious thing to do is that to be aware that program, the reason I'm loving it is that it was there to protect me, but the reason I'm releasing it is because I am aware that it's not serving me anymore. So that is all. So we don't hate it, because what we resist will persist. We do not hate it. We do not resist it. We just release it. We just let it go. So anyway, so that's about the daily reminder that I talked to you about. Now I want to talk about emotions a little bit that I was talking. So from early on, we think crying is bad. We have to be good. And, okay, if we have anger, we swallow it. If we have jealousy, we swallow it. So our defense mechanism or ego actually does this for us, suppresses our emotion in order to save us misery. The fact of the matter is, it's not doing us any good. It thinks it's doing us good, but it's not doing us any good. So if we kind of bring up our emotion and we truly feel it, that's the time we feel liberated. I read this book called Anger. I will bring it, but I think it just says anger. Wow. Let me just bring it actually.
I used to have a book called Anger. I got rid of it. I decided I didn't want any books attracting the stuff I was trying to get rid of. I also won't buy idiot guides or dummies guides. Because why? I'm not one.
You're right?
How funny!
I did buy a dummy book recently. Okay, here we go. What? Is that the name of the person?
Yeah.
Up there? Uh-oh.
So, yeah,
Fitch?
he's the teacher, actually. So,
Angela's getting something to share with us.
So, in this
Aren't
book...
you? Did you bring me something?
Oh, the same author.
See, I was just saying, I used to have a book called Anger, but I got rid of it when I started looking at all the different ones on my shelf that actually were talking about things I wanted to get rid of rather than things I wanted to have. So by intent, I switched to True Love rather than Anger.
So I want to tell you something, though, Angela. We don't get rid of these emotions. That's the whole purpose of this, because we have to feel them. If we resist, we persist. And the reason I brought up this, I read this a couple of years ago, and it said, anger is like potatoes that you put in a pot, and you need to boil it for 15 minutes, then it becomes delicious. So I was like, I didn't understand. Seriously, I did not understand what it meant. Anger becomes delicious? What does that mean? And you boil it and it becomes delicious. And now it's the time that I'm actually truly understanding it. And why? Because if you feel our anger, it dissolves. If you want to get rid of it, it will come back as rage. It will come back as avoidance. It will come back as all sorts of things. But if you go directly to the tummy of anger and we feel it, I feel so angry, just sit down. 10 seconds. This is amazing, because I think I brought it up last time in conscious parenting. I do that with my kids. I say, okay, let's feel it. 10 seconds. I feel so mad at my teacher. She did it. Just feel, not even the story, but feel the emotion. And after 10 seconds, when you feel it, it dissolves, it's like dissipates, like gone. It's really, really, really magical. And I cannot just teach you this, because if you don't do it, you don't feel what I'm saying. So I challenge you to do this at any, even the daily reminders. I do this when I find the emotion. Instead of just saying, oh, there it is, that's a program, I actually take a couple of seconds to feel the emotion, and that's where it dissolves. So I label it, there it is, that's a program, that's not me. But at the same time, I feel it, so it dissolves. So I just don't ignore it. I pay attention to it. Go ahead.
I want to say definitely I don't ignore it. And like I said, been doing it a really long time. In one of my blogs, I think it was blogs, maybe it was the video. I know I've talked with Elsie about it before. Pema Chodron has a lot of being with your emotion. And I did one about anger and pain at Page, Arizona. And it does more than dissolve. If you really listen to what is going on in your head and your heart and what you feel and what's happening, you also begin to understand that there's nothing to be angry about, because all of those offenses that you perceived were you perceiving them from your frame of view.
Exactly.
And to me, once I actually was with my anger and pain and experienced that, I don't have a reason to get angry again. I can feel that upset and know that I feel upset and I'm just feeling insecure, but it has nothing to do with them. So to me, I don't even label it anger anymore. It's just like, it's like bumper cars, and I got reminded that I was starting to drift to a little bit of not awareness and into expectation land, that they were going to behave exactly like I was going to behave.
Exactly.
Which isn't the case.
So you are, Angela, you are so advanced in this. You are so advanced in this. And it's even talking about this so in a basic level, for some people, it's really unbelievable. That's why we need these baby steps. And it's amazing to do, like, all of a sudden when you see it, it's just a reminder, that's it, it's dissolved, no emotion. That is so awesome.
But that's the same reason I have to talk, because I'm proof it does.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm continuing proof, and that's all I can do in those videos is just share, I was here, this is what I did, this is how I felt after.
Angela, I want to actually, you reminded me of a slide today I read. I think Ram Dass said that if you think you're enlightened, go back and live with your parents. So as I said, always, if you have a routine and easygoing life, things work. But all of a sudden, when something unexpected happens or children happen every day, then you really feel the need to make these consciously activated. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, because at every moment there is another reminder, hey, you're not there yet. You have to do this consciously. So that's why it's so important to be aware and have all these tools to go ahead.
You've got one down here, Sarkeesian. What are we being mindful of?
Okay, so we talked about this. As I said, the simple reminder, a being reminder of anything that we're doing. As I said, you're washing the dishes, being mindful of the texture of the water or when it hits your water, when you're washing. And when I wash the dishes, okay, if I'm mind wandering, I'm washing the dishes. But when we become really mindful, I say, oh, I don't like this water is wasting too much. Let me just turn it down. Let me turn it off. So I become mindful of you become mindful of anything, of all your five senses in anything you do. So that's one way to go about it. The other mindfulness is when you are seeing something, you do not, as I said, the definition is non-judgmental observation. You do not attach any good or bad to it. There is no duality. You're just observing. It's something and you're going. So that's, again, being mindful. Or being mindful of your emotion. What kind of emotion am I having right now? Let me just label it, find it, and feel it. Again, that's another mindfulness. So mindfulness is about being aware of your internal emotions, of your reactions, being mindful of the way you're acting, of your automatic thoughts, of stopping them. So being mindful of all you're doing, actually, of your being. Does that answer your question?
Well, he's kind of in another place.
Okay.
And he likes caps. Oops.
They said he likes caps.
Up.
Being the observer. Right? The observer, not letting the mind try to control or protect from the truth. Sometimes the mind does not want to know the
your
truth
energy self,
because it's built.
Okay.
Your energy self, your physical
it builds
self.
these walls.
All right. So now I want to bring up something about emotion again that Neil Donald Walsh brought up in a conference that we went to, Elsie. And he has actually a little video on this. I think you type in emotions and Neil Donald Walsh, you will get it. So we have 5 kinds of emotion that are valid. That is anger, that is envy, that are grief, fear, and love. So these are 5 valid emotions. And if you don't truly feel them, they actually transform into unhealthy emotions and unhealthy feelings. In anger, yeah?
Plus, if you don't actually feel them, they actually submerge in your body and become cancer and fibroids and name one, I don't know.
Yeah.
Ulcers.
Yeah, right.
So anger, if you don't feel anger, it becomes rage. Envy, if you don't feel it, it becomes jealousy. Because envy is good. It's like when, okay, that person has that and I like to have it. That feeling is healthy. That feeling is good. But if you don't truly feel it, it becomes jealousy. Grief becomes depression. Fear becomes panic. And love becomes, guess what?
Hate.
Pain?
Hate.
Hate? No, love becomes possessiveness.
Oh, yeah, attachment.
So,
okay.
Anyway, so it is so important to feel these emotions at any moment. That those daily reminders that we have, just find your emotion and feel them. There it is. That's a program. And do not give up your daily meditation. Is just essential to get connected to the true self. Anyways. Yeah, if an 8-year-old in the world, if every 8-year-old started meditation, we can eliminate violence in one generation.
Or if they all could grow up as an only child in the country with just animals.
Yeah.
So how big a city did you grow up in?
I've always been a city girl in apartments. I've never even lived in a house. And this is the first time, actually.
Siblings?
I'm the only child, though, but I've had a lot of friends, so I kind of filled the void with a lot of friends and lots of cousins back home. So I wanted to bring up something else for kids because he brought up the 8-year-old. My daughter is 8. They usually don't like. Because they get bored, they kind of resist. So what I found useful with kids, first of all, when we are snuggling at night, I snuggle with them a couple of 5-10 minutes before they fall asleep. And then when it's dark, they're open and they talk. So I really recommend this. So I kind of do like my own guided meditation. Oh, you're going on a balloon. And so kind of give them a place in their mind that it's silent, that we have lollipop land, for example. They go talk to the lollipops. The way, for example, other mindfulness for children organizations have it. For example, they say draw a nice picture, and then you ask them to draw a nice picture, and then they imagine it, and you ask them what is at the right, what is at the left. So it's all going back to here somewhere. They have here. So you keep reminding them that they have everything here. They have their internal GPS here, and they don't have to look outside for acceptance and all those things. And the other thing go ahead.
I was going to say that inspired me, but I'll tell you in a sec.
Mm-hmm. So
your children's story.
So the other thing that I just started with them is 1 minute mindfulness. So when they come from school, we sit cross-legged. And then just 1 minute we ground, and then we just feel what kind of emotion we have, and we are quiet. So that's kind of making them train them to still their mind, because I didn't learn that as a kid. Just to still my mind, because I was always doing and homework and be better and get this and get that. So to teach them that they have a place inside to go silent, and they don't have to look for acceptance from outside. So is there anything else? Do you have anything in your mind to ask?
You're looking that way.
No, I was looking at. I was looking at my notes.
At the boat.
I was looking at
She's looking at the boat.
It's just so strange for me because, and I guess I need to talk about that experience more because, yeah, I'm just very, very lucky. And so explaining how I work through some of those like the notion about the minute that you realize all of your anger is you being offended at something outside yourself, all those little things. Yeah, I need to talk about them more, because there were things where I felt like I disagreed with you, but it wasn't that I disagreed with you. I'm just at a different place. It was something I did, but I don't anymore. Does that make sense?
Something that you did no, I didn't get it.
Things that you mentioned that were things that were the recommendations, I would say they're not for everybody, because they would not be a good fit for me, because I already look at it a little differently. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like which part?
Like the getting angry. I like the one I explained right there.
Getting angry?
The getting angry.
Yeah.
See, so I did set up my world. I grew up in the world in the beginning where it was pretty isolated. And then because of my life choices, which I have to go back to the Abraham Hicks, right? You make the choices the circumstances that you're born into. They were choices you made pre-life, according to them, to give you the lessons that you're going to get. So I pre-chose being that lucky, and I have maintained it my entire life. So because I can come from a calmer place, I do come from that calmer place, and I look at a lot of what you said a little bit differently. I'd have to listen to the whole thing again to point out the places. And I think that's another reason I struggle with my coaching, where I just need to say where I'm coming from, because that makes some of the steps to me redundant and not necessarily the best way to go.
I wanted to bring that up, actually, because I told you at the beginning, because I had to consciously learn all these steps. But to you, it became natural. So that's
some of them I leapfrog. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I'm kind of nailing down the steps to become mindful, to become this way. Yeah, that's the difference between me and you.
So,
right.
That's why I love coaching.
Are you talking? And you're talking at the school, or did you just do a talk at the school?
Oh yeah, I did that talk 2 weeks ago, and I'm doing another one next week, March 10th. Yeah.
Right. That's beautiful. What a gift.
Yeah. I'm very excited about that. Yeah.
Well, do you see any books in your future? Are you going to write, maybe?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure, I will write. But I just don't know. I have a couple of. So I have conscious parenting. I have my autobiography, and I have mindful living. So I have 3 things. I don't know how to go about them. Maybe just combine them or something.
I have a question. I don't see it a lot, right? Mainly because I unfollow it when I see it. But there was a little bit of drama on my Facebook wall that I happened to notice, and it was 2 parents. And so what would you say about 2 parents that are divorced and they've got a child? I was really confused. It seemed like they were saying a 3-year-old, but that kid's older than 3. So let's say 5. And while you're bouncing them back and forth from household to household, one of the households gets their ears pierced because the little girl wants the ears pierced. And the other household removes the earrings, has a fit, and lets it heal.
Oh, that poor child. Oh,
absolutely.
See, I'm reacting. I'm sorry.
React? How do you explain it in a way?
I know.
You know what I mean? How?
Angela, can you repeat your question again? I'm so sorry.
Okay, so you have 2 parents that are have divided custody of a child. It's a child under 10, right? Say about 5 years old. At one household, they let the kid get pierced ears because she wants it. And when it's the next time at the other household, they remove the earrings so that they will heal in, and have a big So
they're using the child to communicate. They're abusing the child to communicate. Now, I do have a belief that as children, we choose our parents. So that's a whole nother conversation. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, but we do. The whole Abraham Hicks thing, right? Obviously, I picked my parents who were very not mindful. And then I'm out in the country. I'm by myself. I keep cultivating that. Obviously, I mean, you pick your, what they say is you pick your contrast for the things you're going to put in your vortex, for the things you're going to build out of it. And so, yeah, you're aware of that. She picked her parents. That's what they're doing. But I mean, how do you even begin to have an intelligent conversation? I just thought, well, I'm not their coach. And I wanted to say something, but there was just nothing.
So, are you asking me to tell each of the family or one of them?
No, I'm just asking you what you would have done in that case.
Like if I was who?
How to teach them the awareness of their actions.
You can't teach it, but what would you do? Do you just,
what would I do as a coach?
You are a coach or a parent. Because I'm a coach, but I'm not a parent. So I was like,
So, are you asking me?
You would ask them how. I know. Maybe you would ask them each individually. How does it make you feel to take action in the way you have been? Right.
Well,
to have them just know what's going on in themselves.
You don't have access to both.
Exactly. That's my question. Are you asking me to coach both of them, or to coach to one of them, or no? I don't understand.
Well, it's not actually coaching because they're not
example.
paying you. They're not coming here. I'm saying you see that out in the world. It's just like I've talked to a therapist before where he's seen someone abusing a child in the grocery store. And literally because he is held as a court, he goes to the court and actually, is a witness. He is held by law that he had to intervene.
Yeah. So of course it's just if I want to be the judge here, of course what they're doing is wrong. But if I want to coach one of the family, which I think the most reasonable one, if one of the families comes and say, okay, my child when she goes there, they do that to my child, then again we go back to our fundamental talk that we build our own life, so we don't even have to pay attention to that. So we are actually, the way we react to another person, that's how our life is built up. So it's all us. So it is like blaming is not going to work. Fighting is not going to work. So if one of the parents will come to me, I will empower that parent to do what is right for them as a mindful and conscious parent. And believe me, that most of the things around them will dissolve, because if every one of us knows, lives our true self, lives our true purpose, then the things around, that's what we say, we co-create our life. So if we feel we are responsible and we choose the conscious path, then everything else will fall into place. But if you're asking me as a judge, of course, they're both doing.
It doesn't have anything to do with judge. It doesn't have anything to do with judge. It has more to do with, I would say with me, it's a question of empathy. I saw that go past, and that's the reason I cut a lot of them. It's like, I can't feel bad for all of you. It's not judging. It's like, I see pain in the woman. I see pain in the man that did what he did. I see pain in the child. I see a lot of pain. And my immediate instinct is, what can I do to relieve this pain? And there's really, to me, there's nothing I can do other than put kitten pictures and happy things. Yeah. That's why my thing is a constant, entertain them, happy.
Yeah.
Stay happy.
No, you're right. So actually someone brought this question up in a parenting group, and she said she was suffering when people were unconscious with their kids. And I told them the best way to go about, this is exactly what I said, all is well. They are getting what they're needing. So the thing we can do is saying Ho'oponopono and clear the feeling. Thank you, I love you, please forgive me, I'm sorry. So we just clear the feeling in us. That's for our part, because when we clean the bad feeling in us, it will affect the people around us. As far as them,
beautiful.
They are living what they need to live. Like we cannot. That's exactly what they need in order to evolve, or all sorts of things at that moment. So we cannot even judge about that.
That's so perfect.
Yeah, but
it's so perfect.
That is what I did,
because now you are doing something. Exactly, and that's and you put that good energy out there. That is, and you actively did get you stirred a little bit of happiness into the world.
Yeah, exactly. So that's for our responsible.
Gobble.
If they come as if single of them, one of the parents will come, which is usually the case. then you will enlighten them that they are living their own life. They are co-creating their life. So just drop. Actually, I talked to someone yesterday. I said, forget about that. Like, forget about the other person. You are the center of your attention. You need to work on yourself. And the other person does not even exist in you, because you are building your reality. So, so it's kind of multi-level, this matter. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yay!
Well, I think that's perfect. That concludes a really cool episode. Yay!
Extra United.
We're so happy. And what a happy note to end on. So, yay. I feel so empowered. Thank you so much, Arayeh. What can we call you?
Whatever you want to.
What's the last part? I always say Norouzi.
No. I like my
Arayeh,
first name better.
Norouzi.
No, I like my first name better. So, yeah.
Arayeh. I call you Arayeh.
No.
No.
The first one was better. Arayeh. Arayeh is good. Yeah, the way you pronounce, like, Americanized is good.
Arayeh.
Is it Arayeh or Arayeh?
Both are
Arayeh.
good, really.
Arayeh. Okay, I'll just think of you as Sunray. Arayeh.
Oh, actually, someone.
Now I have to relearn your name.
Elsie, someone told me
I can even spell it now.
the way that she remembered is like a ray of sunshine. A ray of sunshine.
Arayeh.
Arayeh.
Ray of sunshine.
Arayeh. Whatever. Really doesn't
Okay,
matter.
so I'm just.
I like
Well, there's her link, and thank you so much again. I'll have this available on YouTube. So, bye today.
Bye. Love you guys.
Bye. Thank you, Angie. Thank you, Arayeh. Thank you, Randy. I love you. Thanks, everybody in the chat. Talk soon.
Bye.